Hi, my name is Jill. I'm a single mom living in a tiny house in Maryland. It took me 13 months to get the tiny house to this point, and over the build process, I was continuously looking for a parking location, and I was on Craigslist, I was on Facebook, I was reaching out to anybody and everybody, bringing up the word tiny house parking in any conversation that I could think of randomly. I drove around the county and I was poster signs and grocery stores and just asking people, and somebody recommended the Nextdoor app. And I posted on there that I had a tiny house and I was looking for parking, that I have horses and I have children, and that I needed a place for the horses, and I was hoping that there would be children nearby so that my children could have somebody to play with. And that same day I received a call from somebody who said that she had been researching all week to see if she could have a tiny house on her property. It was on a horse farm and that she had 3 daughters. So it was a really great match, and I went to meet them the next day, and we knew right away on both sides that it was something that we were going to do. I didn't have a lot of building experience, and I built the tiny house myself, and there's some things that I learned along the way that I would love to share with other people. One was that I hired a carpenter, and then I was their assistant, so that way I could learn the ropes, so that when my funds for a carpenter ran out, then I would have at least some knowledge to move forward. The other thing is that I used, highly recommend this video. This was my Bible. Anytime that I was confused, I referred to this. And I threw a lot of build parties. People were very enthusiastic about the tiny house movement, and I had friends that I didn't know that I had reach out and come to the build parties and help me out, and that was a lot of great fun. I built the Andrew Morrison model, and in his model he has the kitchen underneath the loft and the living space in the open. And for my purposes, it seemed a better fit to have the kitchen in the open and then have the sitting area under the loft. I thought it would maximize the height differences a little bit better. So I did a long kitchen counter. This is all from IKEA. These are all used cabinets. Along the way, I met this wonderful retired man named Jack, who's a retired cabinet maker, and he built these stairs for me. And eventually I want to put doors or curtains on them to make it a little tidier, but the space and function that comes out of it is really fantastic, and I'm super appreciative to him for that. So when I first moved into the tiny house, I didn't have a dishwasher, and I cook most of my food, and I make a terrible mess every time that I do. So I was spending maybe a half hour a day begrudgingly doing dishes. It was the only dark mark on living tiny that I saw, and somebody was kind enough to give me their used dishwasher. It's apartment size, so it fits in there perfectly. So my youngest daughter's loft is up there. It's 5.5 feet, and it fits her really well. She's 7 years old. The same gentleman who made the stairs also made this wonderful door out of scraps for me. This is our bathroom. Those are the goats that live outside. This is the Renai water heater. This thing is fantastic. It has never failed me, and it's always kept the water very warm. We built our own compost toilet, and so far it's been working out pretty well. I do not like the sink. I would never recommend anybody get the sink for a tiny house, although I've seen it pretty popular, so maybe people are having different experiences than I am, but the water splashes out because of the size. And for the shower, originally I had corrugated metal throughout here, and I was concerned that water might be getting behind it. So I tore out the corrugated metal, painted the walls with Kills, and as a stopgap right now I have plastic sheeting up, and at some point I'm going to figure out if I'm going to put tile on that or not, or what other options I might pursue. So this is Hydro. It records electricity coming off of the breaker, and this is a wireless one, so it sends the information to a website where I can review how much I've used each day, and I can get a better idea of my electrical usage. And I sent a login to my landmate, and she can track it as well. This was originally going to be the living area, but when we moved in, for some reason I thought that my two daughters would be able to share a loft, and then I quickly changed my mind on that and decided that I would sleep down here while they slept. Well, one slept here and the other one slept in the larger loft. And then I very quickly also put these up to maintain some sort of sense of separation. So these are the typical, where you pick them up to get into the loft underneath. If I would do this again, I would just do the pull-out drawers because it's a lot easier. This is a difficult system to maintain, to easily get items out of. Anchored a TV on a swivel. Oh, and this book, I highly recommend this book. This is great for people that are wanting to start or to join a community that teaches you the skill sets. And what's useful is that if you're local to this area in Virginia, there's an Intentional Communities Conference every year at Twin Oaks. And you can find more information about that at communitiesconference.org. And they teach you a lot of the skill sets that are in this book as well. So I haven't finished the trim. So when I moved I've been living in this tiny house for about 2 years, and I thought I could get it to a point where it's livable, and then I could work on it while I moved in. But it turns out I got lazy once I moved in because I really didn't feel like doing anything else. I've done a few things since then that were like utterly vital, but I haven't done any of the trim. I haven't finished the ceiling. So this is the master loft. It's 10 feet 2 inches, and we have a king-size bed in here that fits easily. There are 2 skylights, and there's a skylight above the other loft as well. My ultimate dream is to live in Colorado in a tiny house village. I used to live in Colorado, and it broke my heart to leave, so I've always been looking for a way to get back. Not to say that I don't love my arrangement here, because it is fabulous. I would love to have a permaculture-based intentional community that has a central area that encourages social interactions, where like the houses are kind of almost facing each other in a circle. And then there's like a shared common building that can be used with like a large kitchen, a large seating area, maybe a yoga room and gym, library, just whatever common areas that people generally would need that would meet the needs of the people in the community. Any lack thereof of feeling within your tiny house, so I don't have my own library or study. You could have, a workshop and an office space, all those needs met within a community building, and that there'd be great interactions in the community building as well. And something that was definitely permaculture based, where we were growing a lot of our own food and cooking together and sharing labor, so that we were reducing a lot of the redundancy and the workload. So I don't like to force any type of lifestyle on people, but I would like to expose them to tiny house living and permaculture based living, because I think that those are 2 solutions that, especially when combined, can heal a lot of what ails our society. So one of the benefits of living in villages, as I'd mentioned, is sharing labor. So one of my passions is growing food, so I grow food and then share it with my landmates. And they love having chicken, so I get free eggs. So Aaron and I were looking online to see if there was any villages that we could find, because we were going to plan a trip to Colorado and just go check them out. And we went online, and we weren't able to find a central directory where all the information was listed. We found a couple of blog posts here and there where they mentioned a few villages and several websites that listed information about their village, but you had to research each individual one. So we started gathering the information and putting it into a spreadsheet so that we could go over which ones would be a good fit for us to find. And once I had that information gathered, I felt compelled to share it with others. I'm a web developer, so I had the skill set that it wouldn't be too much work for me to share it. Well, that's what I thought, it wouldn't be too much work. But it was a ton of work. So I created a directory and then approached people on Facebook and tiny house people and asked them what would be important for them, important factors for them in finding their village. And so I just got feedback and tweaked things up, and then finally got it launched. And it's still a young site, but I'm excited to where it's going to go. There's a lot of things that I want to add to it in the future that will help villages and people find each other and help new and young villages grow without having to reinvent the wheel. So this is my second year with the garden out here. I had to put the fence up because the goats were my main customer. Because of the website, I'm a lot more behind on it, but what you're looking at right now is actually the compost pile. There's plants beyond it. Got a pretty diverse setup of plants usually. And the building just beyond it is what we lovingly refer to as the cottage. It's a converted carriage house, and the owners, my landmates, are renting it to us for extremely inexpensively. So we use that as like an office space and for play area for kids, and it's air conditioned and just extra storage spillover. And their house is the large building beyond that. It's a family of 2 adults and 3 children, although one of the children is going off to college soon. One of the reasons that I was excited about the website is that I really want to share the idea and possibility to people. I got an email this morning saying that they weren't aware that there were that many villages out there, and that they're a nonprofit and they're going to bring the models that they're seeing on the website to their local government to try to get tiny houses and tiny house villages legal in their area.
Hey guys, Alexis and Christian here with Tiny House Expedition.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
And click left or right for more tiny house stories and tours.